evening topic Mixer family. I want to talk about something that's really important today. It's not politics, it's not religion, it's Star Wars. And man, I love the Mandalorian series. I just got through watching chapter 13 and the reveal about Baby Yoda. If you haven't seen it, don't watch this. I suggest because there are spoilers. So, let me go ahead and get started right from the beginning. Let's talk about chapter 13. We got to see Ashoka for the first time since, the anime, since a live action Ashoka. Man, and boy, was she bad to the bone. She was doing her thing out there, and she was looking for, guess who? The blue guy. Grand Admiral Thrawn. What? Grand Admiral Thrawn. There's a chance in this series that we will see Grand Admiral Thrawn. Maybe not. See, that may be a setup for Ashoka's series, and that's something I was thinking about today because some people are bringing up, wow, we're gonna see Grand Admiral Thrawn in Mandalorian. No, you might see it in the Ashoka series. That'll be next, depending on what age they decide, what era they decide to do the Ashoka series. So, if the Ashoka series is a spinoff of Mandalorian and this was her introduction, then you understand what she's looking for. Her series is about Thrawn. She's fighting a higher level character. There's levels to this thing. I was telling people there's levels to Star Wars just like there is to Marvel. Like I said, you've got at the bottom you've got people like the Punisher, Daredevil, basically the whole Defenders cast, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist. You got those guys at the low level. Then you got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and things like that. You got mid-level guys that they haven't introduced really in a whole lot of movies. Some of them are in the big movie, like Ant-Man. They put him he gets his own film. He's more of a mid-level than the big time, but he's a mid-level guy. And then you have the Avengers. They do the world, stop the world destruction type things. They're the guys with the big powers and the godlike powers and stuff like that. So, same with this Star Wars, you got the whole Skywalker series. Then you have lesser movies about things like Rogue One. Then you come on down, then you'll have shows like this, Mandalorian, Rebels, Clone Wars. They introduce other characters related to those characters, but they're on a smaller scale or on a different scale. So, as we know, Mandalorian's building up to something big with the Imperials, with the dude with the dark saber. Yeah, hey, forgive me if I don't remember names, but I know something big's going to happen with that. He's cloning. He's going to have the Death Troopers that he's got. So this is going to be an interesting thing to watch. Moff Gideon, I believe that's his name. Moff Gideon. He's got the dark saber. He's got that Darth Vader type armor. Now, see, that's more on the Mandalorian's level. Like I said, where Ashoka's going, she can go to the next level. She's going against Grand Admiral Thrawn, and Grand Admiral Thrawn is almost on a Skywalker level. Be honest, it's on that level. It could be possible. So Ashoka's on this mid-level thing here, and it's going to be awesome to see when that comes out. Now, let's get to more about chapter 13. That was just one of the elements in chapter 13 that I noticed. So then they were also talking about that they were mining this planet for resources and energy for building ships and other things that they're using. Of course, you notice that they're looking for metal that is lightsaber proof. It's not like there are a lot of Jedi in the galaxy, but there's one in particular they're probably really worried about. His name is Luke Skywalker. So here we are with this Mandalorian metal that they're using, that the Mandalorians use for their armor, and she's got this spear, the Imperial. She's probably a Moth also. Moth or director that's at this place. She's got that. If you notice, they had a lot of people held slave. You saw people being tortured. A lot of things that are pretty dark in this one. Um, and again, one of the biggest things again was the fact that Ashoka showed up. And when she got there, she, beat up on a couple of the guards that were out front. And then she turned her attention to the one and only Thrawn. She brought that name up, Thrawn. So we know who she's looking for. And to go on from that, she gets in contact with Mando when he gets there. Of course, Mando ends up in the village with the Imperials, and he plays it off like he's there for whatever they want. Then the lady's like, "Hey, Mando. So if I give you this mission, I'll give you the little piece of information you're looking for. I'll give you this piece of metal here. Yeah, you'll want this. I'm sure you want it. If you kill Ashoka." So he goes, even though his plan is not to kill Ashoka, she tells him where Ashoka is. So she goes and meets with Ashoka so he can show her Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda turns out to be Grogu. His name is Grogu. So she connects with him through the Force. She can't speak his language, but she can connect to him through the Force. So they have this mental connection going on. And it's kind of something that I've thought only was existed between Padawans and Masters. But I'm getting to understand that this connection could be between anyone in the Force. But anyway, so she talked to him. Grogu tells her his story. He's 50 years old, so he was present during Order 66. He was present during Order 66. He was a youngling being taught by Jedis in the Jedi Temple. So he's not a random Force user. He's not just randomly using the Force and being able to use the Force. He was taught, so he knows the Force. But what happened was, of course, Order 66 happened. A Jedi rescued him. They did not mention who, and we might find out later, might not, that knows who he is. And they're going to find out which Jedi has a connection to him, because he may have been at the point where he was about to get a master. So then he would go from a youngling to a Padawan. So he was probably at that stage, the next stage of learning as far as becoming a Jedi. Whoever this Jedi that was his Jedi that rescued him, they don't mention who that was, but they say that basically Grogu goes through a depression. So he loses his contact with people in the Force and stuff like that. So he goes through a dark period in his life. And with that dark period, he ends up somehow in the hands of the Empire. None of that's really explained how he ended up in their hands, but we know what they're after. They're after his blood and his DNA, so they can make clones of him that might turn into super soldiers, or even turning old boy himself trying to find a way to gain Jedi powers. So we hear about midichlorians constantly here, so we understand that she's testing him as they would test the Jedi. She, to find out where his connection is, and then she finds out his connection, even though Mando is not a Jedi or has Force powers, that the baby has connected, Yoda or Grogu has connected with Mando. And because of that, Ashoka cannot take the baby and train the baby. And she says he needs to find who he's connected with. I also noticed that Ashoka did not mention the fact that she was no longer a Jedi. Though she is no longer a Jedi, she did not mention that. She has a connection with the Force, but she is not a Jedi. The old gray Jedi, I think, keeps popping up, but she's just a Force user who's not a Jedi. That's all she is. She's still a good person as far as that goes. So the gray concept kind of falls off here. But that, like I said, these are some good things to learn about this. So we understand that Baby Yoda is a character from the Clone War days that is still alive after all the events of Return of the Jedi, and it's still a baby. Hadn't even reached full potential. It's 50 years old, and like you said, he's a Yoda species, so he could grow to be 900 to 1,000 years old. So, like I said, he's still in the infant stage. In Ashoka, we got to understand their lifespan is like 120, 150 years. She's also very young, even though she's in her 40s. That's why they picked the character they did, Rosario Dawson. She fits that age range, and man, all I can say is this episode was awesome. There were some other things that were awesome. The fight scenes were on point, perfect. The Ashoka scene at the beginning where she was fighting with the Imperial the troopers, and at the end when she went in there and basically dueled with the lady and subdued her. She didn't kill her. She subdued her. And the village was saved, and the mayors took back over that thing. But like we said, we learned that this place is being used by the Imperials to mine for resources. They're up to something. And like I said, Moff Gideon, whatever he's up to, is probably tied into him as well as Grand Admiral Thrawn. Seems like she's more tied into Thrawn than Moff Gideon, But I can't wait to see Chapter 14 or the rest of the shows coming out for Mandalorian. Mandalorian is an awesome series. I kind of got disappointed with some of the movies, but we'll talk about that some other time. But I still love the movies, and I'm loving the Mandalorian. It's like really got me going to watch it again. So, and that's something I'm gonna say. The Filoni and the guys have done a great job with the TV series, visuals. I mean, the graphics in this one were on point for a TV show. You can tell they spent a lot of money on it. They did a great job. And like I said, spoiler alerts, if you haven't seen this, you know what happens. You know that Mando and Ashoka win the day. He gets the spear. And of course, she tells him to take Baby Yoda to the temple that I believe is in the game The Force Unleashed. I believe that's the one it's in. It's in one of the games. And this temple is where she tells him to take Baby Yoda. So everybody's like, what's with all the temples? I thought What's called was the temple. Well, yeah, that's the first temple. This is one of the other temples. You got to remember, the Star Wars universe is several thousand years old, so there's probably more than one temple. You got to think about the temple that Luke Skywalker was at is old. I mean, it's ancient. It's got books, written books. It's like the Jedi went here to study books. They were like away from technology, whereas probably this one is a little bit more advanced. It's the next level, and they were studying it. It's like let's say, like if you ever study history, like the ancient temples in Egypt type thing, that next level thing, as opposed to some monk's place out in the middle of the desert or in the middle of a village. It's just next level. That's all. But she said, take the baby here, put him at the stone tablet on the temple, and maybe he'll find a connection with whoever's supposed to train him. Hopefully it's a Jedi and not a Dark Force user, but we'll find out. So, I want to conclude here, say, hey, look, if you haven't seen the episode, get a chance to see it. I'm sorry for this spoiled it for you, but I warned you up front. So I hope y'all have a good evening. And once again, I hope if y'all have any comments, please leave them below. If you want to like this or share it, please do. Definitely hit that like button. I need as many likes as I can possibly get. I'm trying to start this YouTube page and get it going. I know it's a mixed bag, but eventually we'll have different channels, and we'll also have a podcast. And I hope you enjoy the podcast when that comes out. It will be under a different name, but I will have a link for it in the description below when that time comes. I'm just looking forward to hearing from you. And like I said, please hit the like button and share with friends. And y'all have a wonderful day.